Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Just got our little
Oh my
guy
gosh,
down for a nap. So,
I like your earrings.
oh, thank you.
So cool. Very, very cool,
Thank
Jen.
you. Thank you.
Very nice. I love it. I love it. Oh,
Thank
this is
you.
wonderful. Thank you so much for joining.
Oh my gosh. Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited.
I thought of you like the second. I was like, oh my God, I need to talk to Jen about this. We really need to do the hangout. We need to do the kids double dating or double play date or whatever we need to do that.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Sun's out. It's time for the park. So, and the beach.
Yes, isn't it? It's gorgeous today. Is Jaden sleeping now? Is he napping?
Yes, yes. He just went down for a nap. So those are
Oh,
starting to regulate a little bit more. Nighttime sleep,
okay.
not
Okay.
quite, but
Okay.
nap times are getting a little bit more consistent,
Oh,
thank
yeah,
God.
it'll
So
get there. He's only what, 9 months or 10?
no, he's almost 8, 7.5, 7.5 months.
Oh, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
I miss that
Yep.
phase. Please enjoy this. Once
Oh,
they get their feet, once they start
so
running
mhm.
around, it's
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
oh my God, where did you disappear? And it's funny because like now when I go with my little guy, like he's 2 now, and he runs away. Like he literally just runs away. But when I take him to the park, a lot of times he disappears like under the bushes. So like I don't know where he is. Like it's a second. I turn around and I'm like, where did he go? And I can't see his head. Like my daughter, I still see her head like bobbing over the bushes and like running around, but he's so little. He just like he gets hidden and I get like
Oh,
panic
he probably
attacks and I
loves
get
it.
like
He
mini
he
heart attacks.
probably
Yeah.
loves it. Yeah. Oh
Yeah, he
yeah.
probably
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, oh, this is great, Mom. Come find me. Uh-huh.
Well, okay, so we have a couple of people who've joined. So welcome everyone to our reverse parenting chat with my very special friend Jenn Tarbell, who's not just a friend, she's a new mom of a 7.5-month-old adorable little baby boy, and she's an author. And it's been what, like we met over work, right? Like about 2 years ago now.
Yeah, a couple years ago. Mm-hmm.
It's been 2 years, and we instantly clicked over so many different passions that we had. Like we connected over India and like
Yep.
food, and then more like parenting and kids
Yep.
and early childhood development. You've always been passionate about that, so I think it was
Yeah.
just a very instant connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Natural fit for us to be talking today, it seems.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
was. It really was.
Yeah.
And so just a little background on Jen. She's authored, she was very gracious to give me a gift of her book, and I have it right here in my office. It's $4.83, the cost to impact the life of a child for a year or even forever. And this is amazing. It's about microfinancing, helping kids in developing countries around the world, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. We talk about how kids benefit through microfinance too, not just the entrepreneurs themselves. So one of the most effective ways in helping kids that are living in impoverished areas is through helping their parents, keeping families together, and that will ultimately trickle down. 99% of the time, actually, based on one study, kids
Yeah.
are impacted for the good when microfinance is involved. Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very powerful message. And I read a few chapters and it was very, very interesting how you've documented it.
Oh,
So really
thank you.
great. And you have
Thank you.
another one coming up now, right? Becoming
Yeah,
mom.
what's a work in progress, but yeah, it's called Becoming Mom. So, and I'm trying to
Is it,
highlight.
it's
Go
funny you
ahead.
said that because becoming mom is a work in progress, right?
Yes.
Forever. Forever. Not your book, just
Forever.
becoming mom,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to highlight the journey that moms go through in becoming mom, particularly for the first time. So the ways that we're impacted socially, physically, psychologically, relationally, just the different
Oh
things
my
that
goodness.
we need to prepare for in becoming a mom. And
Mhm.
I think it's probably true that you can never be fully prepared to step into motherhood. But I do think that there are things that we can do to best prepare ourselves holistically
Yeah,
to make one of the biggest transitions, if not the biggest transitions that a woman can ever go through in life. That's a
absolutely.
significant step. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think for both the parents, I think parenthood in general, I think it's the biggest transition, the biggest change, the biggest
Yeah.
transformation, whatever you want to call it, the
Yeah.
biggest
All of it. Yeah.
of your life, right?
Yeah.
Of your life.
Absolutely.
And I think
Absolutely.
no way it's a forever thing. Once you've signed up, you've signed
Yeah.
up.
That's it.
Yeah.
No going back.
This is how actually the genesis of this series came about, because as part of the Stroller Club, we're always talking about what we do as parents can impact your child in so many different ways and really set them up for future. And early childhood development has the power to do that. But at the same time, recognizing that there's a flip side to it, and that in their own way, these kids, these little kids, actually end up teaching us so much. Even starting as early as the womb, like when you're pregnant, you actually learn so much from having your child with you, right? So it's a fun take on parenting. So it's like reverse parenting. So how are you getting reverse parented this week? So I wanted to open the floor for you. Like, what was your big learning? Like, I mean, Jaden's only 7.5 months, but I'm sure he's teaching you a ton already.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm learning so much. I mean, good and bad. You know, I feel like this has been one of the most soul refining experiences of my life. So, you know, it's like it highlights the areas where I feel really strong and amazing, and then also the areas where I'm just absolutely so immature or needing to grow.
Fish out of water.
All of it. Like, it's all on display for myself and particularly my husband, but for others as well. But you know, I think for me, one of the things that that Jaden has really taught me and is teaching me right now is just this freedom to, I'm gonna call it failure, because that's what we would call it, but this freedom to keep failing as he learns. But he's not even looking at it as failure. I mean, that's not even part of his paradigm, but he's just continually like, he just keeps going. He keeps, as he's learning to crawl right now. And so he's continually trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing. And there's no discouragement. There's no like, well, forget that, I'm just not going to crawl. You know, I mean, he keeps going. And it's this tenacity that he's building within himself, that all children build within themselves, is such a profound thing that I'm just watching of like, oh, well, that didn't work. Maybe I'll try it this way. Or like, I fumbled there. Like, maybe I'll put my knees here. I love watching the process of him learning and feeling completely free to fail. Again, I'm using that language. That's not even part of his paradigm, but this freedom to keep trying and until he gets it, and then he'll move on to the next thing. And I think in my life, when I think about that, like, it's so easy to get discouraged at failure or to like, oh, that didn't work.
Not even try
that again.
Just because we have a fear of failure, it's not that we've actually even failed. It's the fear built in our head stops us from even trying.
Correct.
And these kids, they don't even feel the failure. They don't even know what that is, right?
No, and they're not building a fear, which is interesting too. That's not even a part of the picture. And so that has been just something that so struck me as I'm watching him grow and try new things, and just trying to encourage that and then letting that be an encouragement to me too in my own pursuits of, gosh, like, wow, where is there fear that's holding me back? Or, you know, what's going on in my head? What are the lies that I'm believing that are inhibiting progress or my own willingness to step into something first time, or to try something again that I've tried 100 times, and just to keep going. So anyway, that's been really striking for me to watch.
I think that's an amazing example. It's so powerful, Jen. And the fact that I think one of the biggest things is just being able to see it and understand, right? Because a lot of times, every time I look at my kids, like I was thinking about the same thing that you were mentioning. I was thinking about my son learning how to walk. And it's amazing how they just have one road. Like, it's not like, oh, I could fail, I could get it. It's just one road. There are no options. There are no other ways that they are even aware of. And they're just born with that, right? They're born with that conviction and that like entrepreneurial spirit, like, oh, what can I hold? What's going to be strong enough for me to hold? And they know not to hold things with wheels. Like, these are just things that they've learned from observation, right? And it's their entrepreneurial brain or whatever, like their conviction, their determination, their resolve. Like, okay, I just need to do this. I'm just going to do it, right? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They don't think, oh, I failed so many times. Like, what's my mom going to think? What's my friend in the park going to think? It's amazing, right? And that's exactly the box that we end up creating for them over time by saying, oh, this is called failure. And then we tell them not to fear failure. Well, they never feared it in the beginning at all. Like it was never there to start with, right?
Right. You know, and they have this, yeah, you're right. It's interesting that they're on this, like, they have this one track mind, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to crawl and then
Yeah.
I'm going to walk and this is my focus. And I think about it for myself, gosh, if I had that much conviction about what I'm purposed to do, like what, you know, what my focus is in this season or what my calling is in my life, and there were no other options. Like, it doesn't matter if this way doesn't work or if this way doesn't work. I'm going to keep trying because this is what I'm meant to do, regardless of how long it takes me to get there or how many times I have to fall over doing it. Like, I'm going to keep going because I'm meant to do that. So to your point, like, how powerful when we have these convictions and we're so sold on the convictions in our heart and what we are intended to do and be in this world in a simplistic way, just as a child is meant to walk or crawl. I don't think that ever goes away. I think we move away from those things in our lives through fear, but I think they're intrinsic and a part of who we are and how we're made.
I think it's a lot of like societal boundaries we put on ourselves. Like, this is not the accepted. Like, I'll give you an example while you were talking about it. And so this was like a week ago. We took our kids to SeaWorld, right? Because they opened up. It was like their first weekend they were open. And every time we do that, my daughter like saves up her pocket money or whatever, her like little, you know, stash that she has. So she kind of saves up over time. And she's like, oh, I'm going to buy like a stuffed toy or something. So I was like, okay. So she had, I think she had like $15 saved up. So I was like, okay, you take your $15 and we'll figure this out. So she goes there. She walks into the store and she picked on something. It was like a little narwhal or whatever, the whale with the unicorn. I don't know what. Anyway, so she picked that up and then she's like, I want this. And the girl was like, well, this is $20. So I said, well, babe, you don't have 20, you have 15, right? So she just thinks about it a little bit and she's like, I mean, I can ask the girl to give it to me for 15. I was like, fine, why don't you try? So she just walked up to the sales girl. There were like other people standing and she's like, excuse me, I only have $15. Can you give this to me for 15? And she just says, and the girl like burst out laughing and she was like, I know it's 20. And then Medu was like, but just try. I think you can. If you try, you can give it to me for 15. And they just kept like, she just kept going at it and we had to like pull her out and we're like, okay, and I hate doing that because I feel like I'm bordering her confidence and I'm like in her mind, everything is possible, right? The world is just full of possibilities. She's like, oh, what's the big deal? Like, it's 20, give it to me for 15. Like, what does it matter, right? Like, why does it matter? And then the other day she's learning so she goes to Montessori, so she's learning how to be independent and they really tell you like everything you need to do on your own. So she was sitting in her closet, like trying to put on her socks for like, I think it was a good 20 minutes. And she just kept putting it on. And then she realized it was inside out. So she took it out, then she turned it inside out, then she put it on again and it didn't go properly. So she took it out again. It was like 20 minutes of like constant, like going over. And she just didn't give up, right? And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Love it.
It's just amazing to see these kids.
Well, I love that you gave her the space to keep learning and trying. I mean, I know for me, sometimes it's like, okay, let's just get on with this. Like, eat your avocado, like, or whatever. For me, we're in that stage of eating right now. So it's like, okay, 20 minutes later, you still want to eat some avocado. Like, woo, okay, let's move on. But I do my best, like you said, to just give them the freedom to explore because there's so much else that's happening for their little brains than we could even begin to comprehend. And I just think that's such a powerful thing that you let your daughter learn and keep learning and try and inside out, right side, whatever, right.
I mean, I had vested interest, right? Like that 20 minutes is also 20 minutes of no tantrums, no throwing things. So it's 20 minutes of peace. So I was like, yeah, okay, if the socks get you that, you go for it.
You're occupied for 20 minutes. Awesome.
No, but it's again, like coming, jokes aside, I do feel it's what you said was really powerful. Like the never give up attitude, they're born with, right? So this is something that I feel as parents, we need it's something they teach us, but also they teach us, or at least I'm trying to learn this from them, A, not to give up myself, but B, also to not put that box on them, right? Like, Keep them like that. That is so important, because then we go to college and everybody's like, oh, you should have a never give up attitude. And I'm like, well, yeah, like kids start out that way, and somewhere along the road,
That's right. They lose that.
we say, yeah,
Yep.
it's I don't know, something we do that we give them that distinction between winning and failing.
Yeah.
Right? And for
Right.
them, it's not, there's no winning, there's no failing. It's just they have to do it. So they'll just do it.
They have to do it. Right. Exactly.
Right?
Right.
There's no
There
other,
isn't that, like you said before, there's not that fear of missing it or failing or not getting to where they need to go. There isn't actually an option. They're going to get there.
Well, I think also like they don't have that fear of judgment, right? Like they don't feel like they're being judged or someone's gonna, compare them, or they're gonna be less in some way than someone else. They just don't have that. They don't have that comparative matrix in their head. Right? It's simple as
Totally true. Yep. Totally true.
So I think it's really powerful what you said. I love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm just
learning every day. There's something new.
Isn't there? But I think that's a really good thing that you're at least cognizant about that fact, because once you're aware, that's when you really learn. Right?
Yeah, totally. Well, I kind of look at life as a never-ending journey of growth. So I expect that there are going to be ways that I'm going to be continually encouraged to grow or mature or change or readjust. And so, I think that parenthood and being a mom has been an incubator for that in a totally different way. But I'm really grateful, and I want to grow, because I know that I'm at least at this point, I'm the most significant role model that Jaden, our son, has, and everything I'm doing, he's picking up on or observing or learning, and so it really encourages me to want to be a better person, the best that I possibly can be, and to be quick to apologize and quick to recognize my wrongs, and also quick to change, so that I can continue to be a person that's worthy of being emulated in the things that I'm doing.
I think that's really beautifully said. I love how you talked about motherhood being the incubator. I think that's really wonderful, because the way they're learning, I think we're learning too, right? It's parenthood on the job. It's becoming mom for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
There's no end to it. Every phase is different. The toddler phase, you learn something else, and then they grow up and they're teaching you new things every single day.
Yeah, it's a constant refinement is what I find it.
It really
constant
is.
Refinement.
And I think it's also like it goes back, like when they see you learning from them, it's also a lesson to them that learning is a lifelong process, and it's not that you can't learn from someone younger to you, right? Or
that's right.
Learning is from everyone. You can learn from everyone and everything around you.
Yep. Every situation. Absolutely.
And that's very important. That's how you emulate, right? Like if you are ready to learn from them and you're like, oh, wow, Jaden, you taught me something really great today. Thank you for that. You made me a better person. So he's like, wow, okay, I can teach mom too. It's a reciprocal cycle. It's not just one-way street, right? I think that's beautiful.
Right. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's how I guess parenting is a two-way street. They parent us too in ways we don't know.
Absolutely.
Right? Yep. And I think, it's a continuous cycle. But I love it. I love your thought.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for dialoguing about it with me.
No, I think this is wonderful. I wanted to see if anyone has any questions. Not yet. We don't have any questions yet. But this is wonderful, Jenn. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Thank you. It's fun to be, one of the things I've become most appreciative of in this journey is other moms, and just the significance of the communal aspect of motherhood. And I was thinking about it as I was doing some writing recently about how, motherhood, if you look at motherhood as a vocation, which I do think it is a vocation, and it is amongst women the most common vocation. Like the most people in the world have the vocation of motherhood or fatherhood, and just like, wow, like how there's such a wealth of knowledge amongst
Mhm.
mothers, and a wealth
Yeah.
of just wisdom amongst mothers, and just the
So
importance
much.
of linking arms and being in community and not being judgmental and being
Yeah.
sympathetic towards everyone's unique journey. And
Mhm.
hey, look, we're all, as moms, trying to do the best we can with what we have. And we each
Mhm.
have different circumstances, different resources, different people around us. And, but I'm just so grateful for other moms in the journey, because I wouldn't be where I am, even 7.5 months in,
Yeah.
without other moms who have cared for me, who've encouraged me, who've given me their hand-me-down clothes, whatever it might be. I mean, just the tribe of moms is such a significant thing. So anyway, I love what you're doing, and
Oh,
appreciate
thank
you as my
you.
friend and being in
Oh
my
my gosh,
little
thank
tribe of women,
you.
of moms.
Oh, I mean, it's what they say, right? It takes a village.
Yeah,
It
it
really
really
does
does.
take a village. It
It
really
really
does. It
does.
really does.
Yeah,
And I love how you said,
yeah,
like, every mom's journey is very unique. It's like we were talking, I think, last week. Every pregnancy is unique. Like, even for the same person, two different pregnancies are completely two different unique experiences,
totally.
right?
Yep.
So every story is so unique in its own way, and it has to be crafted in its own way. It has to be nurtured in its own way. Like, even
Yeah,
between my kids, like, my feelings for them is the same, but I know they're two individuals, so I have to nurture them more specific to what they need, and they might need
totally,
two separate types of nurturings, right?
totally.
And I think
Yep,
it's just a
absolutely.
constant. Yep. And it's just recognizing that um, our job as their parents is to give them the right inputs at the right time, but also to understand that we're on this journey with them. You know, it's not like we know,
Yeah.
they didn't come with a manual, right? And
No.
motherhood didn't come with a manual.
Gosh,
Wish it did, sometimes no.
I
Um,
wish. Yeah.
but it is like it's constantly learning on the job, and it's constantly
Yes.
understanding that they're in it with us, you know, and it's okay. Like, I think one of the previous chats we were talking about not having that pressure to know everything or have all the answers. And it's
Yeah.
okay to say it to your child as well. Like, if they ask you something and you
Yeah.
don't know, and it's okay to say, hey, I don't know. Let's find it out together. Let's Google it together. Let's ask so and so together. Like, I don't know, but I'd love to learn. And it's
Yeah.
that's what it is, right? It's not being
Yeah.
perfect. It's not knowing everything. That's not important. It's just not.
No.
You want to
No.
let
In
them
fact,
know
I would
that
argue that it's actually more important to model
yeah,
humility
yeah, yeah,
than it is to model perfection.
yep.
And yeah, so no, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
And vulnerability, right? Like, it's okay to be
Yeah.
vulnerable. It's
Yeah.
okay to say, I don't know, you know, and that's something you want to
Yeah.
teach your kids too. Like, don't pretend you know something when you don't. Be okay to say, yeah, I
Right.
don't know, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I love your
Absolutely.
again, I know I've like iterated like 5 times, I think, through the chat, but I love your point of how they teach us not to give up, how failure isn't even an option, there's no fear.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist. And every time I think about
Yeah.
it, I'm just amazed. I really am just amazed.
Yeah. 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 And I
Right?
want to do my best to continue to encourage that, I mean, as Jaden develops, is to create that atmosphere and that space where fear doesn't step in. My fear doesn't step in.
Yeah.
And because again, they watch, they learn. That's where they're going to learn it.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
recognizing your intention, I think just knowing that's your intent, I think that's half the battle. Because if you're
yeah,
aware of it, you'll be more careful about,
totally,
put out there.
totally. Yeah.
But thank you, Jen. This was like so wonderful. I loved
Oh my
talking
gosh, my
about it.
pleasure. It was so much fun to chat. Yeah, I love it.
I know. This is
I love
really
it.
great.
Thanks
This
for
is
having me
really
on.
great. Oh, absolutely. For everyone out there, we're going to be doing this every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Join us next week with a new guest. And here's Jenn Tarbell. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for bringing up this amazing point. I'm going to keep this in mind as well. It's more pronounced when the kids are younger and we can see that conviction. And over time, it sort of gets shadowed and curtained by other things. And I'm going to keep trying to keep my mind open to that and remember how much they're teaching us the never give up attitude and the conviction they they teach us every single day.
Yeah.
But thank
So
you
good.
so much,
Well,
everyone,
thanks,
for
Ian.
joining.
Yeah.
Thanks Jenn, for coming and taking time out. I know you're a new mom,
Yep.
so busy. Well, I'm really
All
looking forward to
right.
your new book coming out, so let us
Thank
know.
you. Thank you.
Good luck.
Yes, I will absolutely keep you posted. Thank you.
Good luck. Thank
All
you so
right.
much for joining, everyone.
Take care.
Bye. Happy end of week. Almost.